How's it going, you guys? And welcome to your morning cup. Now, dramatic rise in air travel rates is going underway. What we understand is the fact that domestic air travel is under 40 minutes is going to cost between 2.6 grand to around 7.8 grand, and flights with the duration of 40 minutes to 60 minutes is going to cost around 3.3 grand to 9.8 grand. Flights between 60 to 90, 90 to 120, 120 to 150, 150 to 180, and 180 to 210, essentially Delhi to Bombay, will still cost you anywhere between 4 grand to above 11 and a half. Now, why is this essential? Well, air travel rates have been fluctuating a lot since the pandemic began, and can you blame them? There is some kind of stability that is trying to come into play, and to bring the stability even further into the mainstream, this is one of the most important steps that need to be taken. So I'd say that this is something that isn't very well received when it comes to the public opinion, but then again is something that might just be necessary to save the industry of air travel as a whole. We move on to the fact that North Korea sets up a second in command post under Kim Jong-un. Now, North Korea has created a de facto second in command in case anything happens to Kim Jong-un. The country doesn't just collapse under the fact that it doesn't have a leader anymore. There is automatically a second in command. Now, South Korea's Yonhap news agency reported that the holder of this new post, which is called the first secretary, would be Jo Young-won, who is one of Kim Jong-un's most close associates, if you will. Now, the issue here is that the CIA has always been involved in assassinating dictators. They try to do that with Castro on numerous occasions. They try to do that with Maduro. If anything like that even begins to go down, we're talking about a country that is nuclear capable and will use all of its assets, including the regular military, to rain hell on South Korea, which is right at its border. So in order to save those millions of lives in South Korea, that is actually an ally to the United States, you can see a little bit of a discrepancy come into play when it comes about how are they actually going to be treating the whole dictatorship in North Korea, and why they haven't taken drastic measurements that they usually do end up taking over time. A study finds that global warming is responsible for 1 in 3 heat related deaths. Now, a new study that indicated between the year 1991 to 2018, over 1/3 of all deaths in which heat played a role were attributed to human induced global warming. Using data from upwards of 732 locations in 43 countries around the world, researchers said that it shows for the first time the actual contribution of man-made climate change and how it is actually increasing global warming, and why we need to take it seriously. So those of us that were on the other side of the equation, that would always say that there is no study out yet that actually says that global warming is caused by humans, now there is a study. Fuel prices in India have gone through the absolute roof. Now, I remember way back in the day when I was riding my first moped, petrol prices were around 70 bucks, 69, 70 bucks a liter. Petrol and diesel prices have hit the highest record since ever. On May the 4th, diesel ended up being 94 rupees. Petrol reached 100. So we're looking at fuel prices going through the roof in the middle of a pandemic wherein people don't have enough money to contribute towards, well, luxurious resources like fuel, because people aren't moving around anyway. But in the scenario in which there is an emergency, someone needs to move around, they're already crunched on their finances, and now you bring in the equation wherein they need to spend way more on fuel than they otherwise would have in case they're traveling super long. I mean, does that really make sense? Because as we understand, more and more people are opting to travel by road rather than any other form of travel out of concern that they might be exposed to the virus. So they might as well travel by road and keep their, well, exposure rates at check. For the final story of the day, we understand that since the Syrian war began, it has been devastating for humanity as a whole. Nearly 5 lakh people have been killed in the decade-long war that has been engulfed in Syria. We saw ISIS take stronghold once. We saw an entire rebel force take hold the other. That the total amount of people that have died since March 2011 is 4,094,438. The previous death toll issued by the observatory March of 2021 stood over 3.88 million, out of which recently confirmed fatalities were above 42,000. So it's not going down. That's the major concern here. We were under the impression that Syria is rebuilding itself, and it was initially, but then it just stooped into turmoil even more. We're looking at gross human rights violations, people losing their homes and everything that they'd worked for. There is no freedom of speech, no freedom of liberty, no freedom of choice. People can't escape the region. When they're trying to do so, they're either being ambushed or they're succumbing to the fact that the entire place has been rigged with IEDs. We still have active militants around, and there's so many coalition forces in the region that it's turned into a complete plethora of, well, miscommunication and war. People don't care about the consequences or the collateral, and rather just believe that they need to keep shooting. Syria was once gorgeous, and what is sad to understand today is that Syria is completely devastated. What might happen next in the region is still anyone's guess, but the United Nations might step in. International coalitions might step in, but the issue is that the pandemic has taken everyone's head away from all of these issues. The entire international community is so stressed out with the pandemic and dealing with it that other issues that are very much important to deal with, like this, are getting neglected. So it was my duty to talk about something that hasn't really been spoken about since the pandemic began. 2 years of suffrage. Imagine you being stuck in your own house during the pandemic, and that was horrible for you. But now look at the situation wherein your own house was blown up to smithereens by opposition or rebel forces or militias or whatever be the case, and you still are enduring the pandemic in a rubble that you once called home.